This is the new prop from Furious FPV. Yep, that's from Furious FPV. So I just got it last night, and I woke up early this morning to test it real quick before work. And I'm going to try to predict what it's going to fly like before actually flying it, and then we'll discuss and see if I was accurate afterwards. This is the prop from Racecraft, and you can see that the blade profiles are, let me get it lined up. Blade profiles look really, really similar. But this blade is just a lot thinner. Way, way thinner, as you can see here. So let's first go off the characteristics of the Racecraft prop. This prop was designed to make the thrust feel linear. What that means is that the power band has been shifted to the top of the throttle range rather than a lot of it at the bottom of the throttle range. That feels kind of weird in the air. It feels like well, to me it feels weird because we're just not used to it. All the other props just kind of make thrust wherever they want. This prop has actually been engineered to give you thrust at a designated throttle range. And basically what that means is that this prop doesn't really go slow. You can try to go slow with it, but where it really benefits is when you're hauling at like 60, 70 miles per hour. That's where you get the real control feel and the real performance out of this prop. So this prop from Furious claims to be a 4.2 pitch, but when you look at it, I mean, that doesn't look like a 4.2 pitch. It looks more like a 5.5 pitch or something. I don't know if that really matters. The pitch number, I'm not sure it really makes a difference, but the prop is thin and the pitch looks steep. So the props look like paddles in the air. They don't look like they're actually very effective because, I mean, how are you going to move air when your prop is so vertical? Anyways, the prop is thinner, and basically what gives you control feel in the air, I believe, is prop surface area on the air. So I think that these props are going to feel very similar to tri blades. They will not feel like actual quad blades. And I think that they will not hover nicely because they do have such a steep pitch. They will pick up speed and move better when you're actually going fast. And I hope that's true. And they are 4.4 grams. So that is about a gram heavier than the HQ 5x4 blade and 1.5 grams lighter than the Racecraft tri blade, and about 0.9 grams lighter than the Cyclone prop. So they got the weight right. The weight is a really good weight. The response time should be good, although it will have to change RPMs more drastically in order to compensate. And I believe that I would probably have to increase my P number to compensate for this prop. So I actually don't think I'm going to like it. I think it will still have that very linear feel, and while linear thrust feel should be better, I think I prefer the traditional screwed up thrust feel. So I actually don't think I'm going to like this prop, but let's give it a try and see what it's like. So I just flew them, and I was absolutely correct in my predictions. They feel like they just are not effective in the air. I don't really know much about prop design, but I'm guessing here that the blade is just too narrow and the pitch is too steep for such a narrow blade for it to be so effective in the air, and they just don't have any punch. They don't make any power. even though it's a quad blade, and it doesn't feel like a quad blade at all. It feels much more like a tri blade, maybe even like a twin blade. Like it doesn't. I mean, it does have some grip. It has more grip than a twin blade, less grip than a thick tri blade. So one thing I would have to say is that they're very, very quiet props, and that might be because they're not making any thrust, but they are very quiet props, and I think that has to do with actually the winglet, the wingtip here, and the really steep inner scoop. So a lot of props have had this winglet now, and what that winglet does is that it actually moves the vortex that's coming off the end of the blade out to the very end of that little winglet, and that actually does improve efficiency, and it should reduce the noise, because that's where all the noise is coming from, is the wingtips. The Racecraft prop has a similar winglet, and so does the Cyclone prop that I like very much. They might be really good on a really, really light setup and a super duper high KV, but not for anything typical that you would fly. So these actually, I correct myself, they actually might be very good on a super light setup. What I mean is that a 250 gram dry weight 5-inch racer, these props might actually work really well on 2700, 2800 kV. The issue with that might be that they do kind of draw a lot of amps, and my battery was like kind of pushing it to keep up, but with something so light it usually draws much less amps, so that might work out.